All right, so imagine this a cryptocurrency just kind of hanging out,
Yeah.
in this metaphorical black hole,
Oh, yeah.
and then suddenly, boom, it explodes outward, just shooting straight for the moon.
Wow.
That's kind of the story we're seeing with GALA lately, and trust me,
Yeah,
you're going to want to stick around for this one.
for sure.
We've got this article here that really dives into GALA's performance, specifically
Yeah, okay.
the GALA USDT pairing.
What I think is really fascinating about all this is that GALA's story isn't just about, the price going up and down.
Right.
It's tied to this whole Web3 ecosystem, and that's where things get really interesting.
Okay, yeah, let's unpack that a little bit.
Yeah.
The article jumps into some technical analysis,
Mhm.
using Fibonacci retracement.
Mm-hmm.
And it suggests that GALA could be looking at some pretty ambitious targets,
Right.
like 0.05963,
Okay.
0.07113, and maybe even hitting that $0.10 mark in the near future.
And remember, those are potential targets, not guarantees.
Sure.
Fibonacci retracement is basically a way to map out possible support and resistance levels by looking at historical price movements. It helps us understand where the market might go.
Gotcha.
But it's not like a crystal ball or anything.
Right. Always good to keep our feet on the ground.
Exactly.
But even with that disclaimer, GALA's recent surge is pretty remarkable. Over 70%.
Wow.
It's like it smashed right through a barrier,
Yeah.
finally breaking free from that long downtrend.
And what's interesting is it's not just riding the coattails of, a general market upswing.
Oh, really?
While the whole crypto market is recovering, GALA seems to be exceeding the average gains.
Oh.
It makes you wonder if there are forces specific to GALA at play here.
Yeah, for sure. So maybe this new development with GalaChain and Bitrue is part of that.
Oh, interesting.
They just rolled out this integration on November 13th.
Okay.
And it basically makes it way easier to trade GALA on the Bitrue exchange.
Gotcha.
No more hoops to jump through or extra fees just to get some GALA.
I think it's worth exploring why they chose Bitrue specifically.
Okay, yeah.
Because there are tons of exchanges out there, right?
Right.
But opting for Bitrue with its $13 billion in USD liquidity.
Wow.
That's a strategic move to tap into a huge pool of potential investors.
For sure.
This integration isn't just about convenience, it's about positioning GLA for massive growth.
And it sounds like the folks at GALA Games and Bitrue are pretty excited about it.
Oh, yeah.
Eric Schiermeier, the CEO of GALA Games, said it's a step toward decentralization in innovation.
Mm-hmm.
And Shruti Kohli from Bitrue called it, an advancement of their vision for a decentralized future.
I see.
So it's not just about the tech, it's about a shared philosophy.
That shared belief is really what stands out to me. It suggests this isn't just a transactional partnership,
Right.
but a collaboration rooted in a deeper commitment to the potential of this technology.
Okay, so we've talked about the price action and this intriguing exchange integration.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm curious, when we zoom out, what exactly is GALA?
Right.
It's more than just a gaming token, right?
A lot of people still think of GALA as just a gaming token, but it's so much more than that. It's like a full-fledged Web3 ecosystem built on its own Layer 1 blockchain called GalaChain.
Wow.
So it started with GALA Games, GALA Music, and GALA Film.
Okay.
But they recently opened up GalaChain to external projects,
Interesting.
inviting developers to utilize their tools and build on their platform.
And speaking of tools, they've got some pretty nifty ones.
Yeah.
Custom tokens, smart contracts, and node networks like DEPIN and Founders nodes,
Mm.
all designed to create a truly decentralized ecosystem. But first, let's bring it back to the present. GALA is currently trading around 0.03916,
Okay.
and we've seen a pretty big spike in trading volume. A 45% jump to $302.61 million.
Wow.
It seems like investors are definitely paying attention.
Yeah.
But besides just price and volume, what other signs point to growing interest in GALA?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
While price and volume are important indicators,
Right.
we can also look at things like developer activity on GalaChain.
Okay.
The growth of the GALA Games community and the adoption rate of GALA Music and GALA Film.
Mhm.
Are developers building new dApps on the platform?
Right.
Are players flocking to GALA Games? Are musicians and filmmakers embracing this whole decentralized model?
That's a good point.
Those are all vital signs to keep an eye on.
So it's about looking beyond just the hype and examining the real-world traction, the
Exactly.
boots on the ground, so to speak.
And while there's definitely a lot of excitement surrounding GALA,
Right.
we have to acknowledge the volatility of the crypto market. Just because things are looking up now doesn't mean it'll always be smooth sailing.
Yeah, that's true. But hasn't GALA shown some pretty remarkable resilience compared to other tokens, especially during those recent market dips? It seems like it's weathering the storms pretty well.
You're right. GALA's performance during downturns has been impressive.
Yeah.
It suggests a certain level of stability
Right.
and investor confidence. That's worth noting. But we can't ignore the fact that the crypto market is influenced by so many external factors. You know, regulatory changes,
Okay.
macroeconomic trends,
Yeah.
even the unpredictable, whims of social sentiment.
So while the technical indicators and ecosystem developments are encouraging,
Right.
it's crucial to keep a level head
Exactly.
and approach this space with cautious optimism.
For sure.
Because even with all the potential in the world,
Yeah.
there are still inherent risks in the crypto market.
That's a wise perspective.
Yeah.
It's easy to get caught up in the excitement, but we have to remember that no investment is without its risks.
Yeah.
And that leads to a really important question.
Okay.
What are some of the risks associated with GALA specifically that potential investors should be aware of?
That's a great question and one we should definitely dive into.
Yeah.
But before we do, let's take a step back
Okay.
and unpack what makes GALA unique in this vast and often confusing world of crypto.
Right.
Because if you're going to assess the risks,
Mm-hmm.
you need to understand the opportunity.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right. To truly understand the risks, you got to get what makes GALA tick.
Okay.
You know, a lot of platforms talk about building these ecosystems,
Right.
but GALA is actually walking the walk.
Okay, so let's break down this GALA universe a little bit.
Yeah.
I know they have GALA Games, GALA Music, and GALA Film,
Mm-hmm.
but what's the big idea behind each of these?
So think of it like this. GALA Games is all about giving power back to the players.
Okay.
Instead of just being consumers, players in the GALA Games ecosystem actually own their in-game assets. That rare sword you earned or that powerful character you leveled up,
Right.
they're yours to trade or sell or even use in other games within the GALA universe.
Whoa. That's a huge shift from traditional gaming.
Exactly.
So GALA Music and GALA Film are taking a similar approach,
Yeah,
but for music and movies.
exactly. With GALA Music, artists can kind of bypass the traditional gatekeepers of the music industry
Okay.
and connect directly with their fans.
Do they make more money?
Yeah, they earn more from their work, and fans get access to unique digital collectibles
Wow.
and even opportunities to participate in the creative process.
Wow.
It's about building a more equitable and rewarding music industry.
That sounds pretty revolutionary.
It is.
But if we step back from the individual pieces for a second, how does GalaChain, their own layer 1 blockchain, fit into all of this?
Okay.
I mean, why not just build on an existing blockchain like Ethereum?
That's where things get really interesting from a technical perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Building on Ethereum, while popular, can be like trying to navigate a crowded highway during rush hour. Oh.
Slow and expensive.
Yeah, for sure.
GalaChain is like their own custom-built express lane designed specifically for the needs of the Gala ecosystem.
So faster transaction speeds, lower fees,
Exactly.
and a more tailored environment for developers.
Yeah.
That sounds like a pretty sweet deal.
It is.
But how do they ensure that this express lane stays decentralized and open?
Right. That's where the node networks come in.
Okay.
Those dependent founders nodes we mentioned earlier,
Yeah.
think of them as the engine that keeps this highway running smoothly. Individuals can operate these nodes,
Gotcha.
contributing to the network's security and decentralization while also earning Gala rewards.
Okay. I'm starting to see how all the pieces fit together.
Yeah.
But even with this impressive ecosystem and custom-built blockchain,
Right.
Gala still faces some stiff competition.
Right. For sure.
There are tons of other blockchain platforms out there,
Yeah.
each with their own grand visions.
Absolutely. Competition is definitely fierce in the crypto space.
Right. But what sets Gala apart is their focus on bridging the gap between blockchain technology and real-world value.
Okay.
They're not just building tech for tech's sake.
Right.
They're creating platforms and experiences that people actually want to use and engage with.
So while other platforms might get lost in the complexities of blockchain,
Mm-hmm.
Gala is focused on making it accessible and engaging for everyday people.
Precisely. They're meeting people where they are,
Okay.
in the realms of gaming, music, and film,
Right.
and seamlessly weaving blockchain technology into those experiences.
All right. So that brings us back to those potential risks we touched on earlier.
Yeah.
With all this potential and ambition,
Yeah.
what are some of the specific challenges or roadblocks that could, trip up Gala along the way?
Well, one of the biggest risks, as with any emerging technology, is adoption.
Right.
Can Gala successfully onboard a large enough user base to support their ambitious vision?
Yeah.
Will their games, music platform, and film initiatives gain mainstream traction?
Mm-hmm.
Those are questions that only time will tell.
So it's a bit of a chicken and egg scenario.
Yeah.
They need a robust ecosystem to attract users,
Right.
but they need users to build that ecosystem.
Exactly. And that's where strategic partnerships like the integration with Bitrue becomes so important.
Okay.
By tapping into existing communities and user bases,
Yeah,
they can accelerate adoption and kind of bootstrap their growth.
that makes sense. But beyond adoption, are there any internal challenges or potential weaknesses within the GALA ecosystem itself
Okay.
that investors should be wary of?
Well, one area to watch closely is the development and execution of their projects.
Okay.
Can they deliver on their promises and release high-quality games, music experiences, and film projects that live up to the hype?
So it's not just about the tech, it's about the content,
Yeah,
the user experience, the overall execution.
absolutely.
Hmm.
Another potential risk is regulatory uncertainty.
Okay.
The crypto space is still evolving, and governments around the world are trying to figure out how to regulate this new asset class. So changes in regulations could impact GALA's operations and future growth.
Okay, so regulatory hurdles are always a wild card in the crypto space.
They are.
But what about competition from other platforms?
Sure.
We've talked about what sets GALA apart,
Right.
but are there any specific competitors that pose a serious threat?
There are certainly other players vying for dominance in the Web3 entertainment space.
Okay.
Platforms like Decentraland and the Sandbox are making waves in the metaverse,
Mm-hmm.
while platforms like Audius and Emanate are challenging the traditional music industry.
So GALA isn't operating in a vacuum.
Right.
They're part of a dynamic and rapidly evolving landscape.
Exactly. And that's what makes it so fascinating.
Yeah.
It's not just about GALA's success or failure.
Right.
It's about the evolution of a whole new paradigm for entertainment and digital interaction.
All right, so we've explored the potential risks,
Yeah.
the competitive landscape,
Mm-hmm.
and the challenges of building a robust ecosystem.
Right.
But I want to shift gears for a moment
Huh?
and tap into something we briefly touched upon earlier,
Okay.
the human element. What's the vibe like around GALA? What are people saying, thinking about this project?
That's where things get really interesting.
Okay.
Because technology is only as good as the people who use it, right?
Right.
And when it comes to GALA, there's this palpable sense of community, of shared purpose.
So it's not just a bunch of tech bros in hoodies hunched over their laptops.
Not at all. You've got gamers, musicians, artists, developers all coming together,
Wow,
united by this vision of a more decentralized future.
that's awesome.
And they're not just passively consuming, they're actively participating, building, creating.
That reminds me of those quotes we heard earlier from Eric Schiermeier and Shruti Kohli.
Yeah.
They weren't just talking about business deals, they were talking about shared values, a shared vision.
Yeah. It's really cool to see how those shared values and that vision translate into, real enthusiasm.
Yeah.
You can almost feel it radiating from the community.
It's contagious.
It makes you want to dive in and see what all the fuss is about. Exactly. And that's what's so powerful about GALA. They're tapping into this deep human desire
Okay.
for ownership, for creative expression, for a sense of belonging.
It's funny. When you get lost in the technical details,
Yeah.
like the price charts, the blockchain jargon,
Mm-hmm.
the complexities of decentralization, it can feel kind of overwhelming.
Right.
But then you zoom in on the human stories,
Yeah.
the people who are actually using and building on this platform, and it suddenly clicks.
I know.
It's not just about technology, it's about people.
It's about empowering those people.
Right.
Giving them the tools to create, connect, and build something meaningful.
Exactly.
And that's what truly sets GALA apart. They're not just building a platform, they're fostering a community,
Yeah.
a movement.
So let's say someone is listening to this right now and they're thinking, okay, I'm intrigued. I want to get involved in this GALA thing.
Right.
Where should they start?
I think the Gala Games website is a great place to start. They have a ton of information about the project, the technology, the games, the music platform, everything.
Okay, cool.
But even more importantly, immerse yourself in the community.
Right, because it's not just about reading about it, it's about experiencing it.
Exactly. Join the forums, dive into the Discord servers, connect with other people who are passionate about this space.
Yeah.
Ask questions, share your thoughts, get a feel for the energy and the enthusiasm that's driving this movement.
And maybe you'll find yourself, inspired to contribute,
Oh, yeah.
to build something on the platform,
Right.
to become a part of this grand experiment in decentralized entertainment.
That's the beauty of it. Web3 isn't just about passive consumption.
Right.
It's about active participation. And GALA is creating the space for that to happen.
Okay, as we wrap up this deep dive into GALA,
Mm-hmm.
I always like to leave our listeners with a thought-provoking question,
Yeah.
something to ponder as they go about their day.
Okay, so here's one for you. Imagine a world where blockchain technology isn't just about finance or speculation, but a seamless part of our daily lives.
A world where it powers the games we play,
Right.
the music we listen to,
Exactly.
the movies we watch, the way we interact with each other.
A world where ownership isn't just about physical possessions,
Yeah.
but about digital creations. Virtual experiences a stake in the platforms we use.
Where decentralization empowers individuals and communities
No,
to take control of their digital destinies.
Right.
It's a pretty powerful vision.
It really is.
Yeah.
And whether or not GALA becomes the first billion-user blockchain is almost beside the point.
Yeah, I agree.
What matters is that they're pushing the boundaries, exploring the possibilities, and inspiring others to imagine a different kind of future.
It's been a fascinating deep dive.
It has.
GALA's story is far from over,
For sure.
and it'll be really interesting to see how it all unfolds.
And that's what makes exploring these emerging technologies so captivating.
Yeah,
It's not just about analyzing data and tracking trends. It's about witnessing the birth of new possibilities, the emergence of a new digital landscape.
so to our listeners, keep your minds open, your curiosity piqued, and your imaginations running wild.
Yeah.
The future of Web3 is still being written, and who knows, you might just play a part in shaping it.
And on that note, we'll wrap up another deep dive.
Sounds good.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible.